So first of all, hello everyone, and thank you so much to all of you who decided to join this webinar on the Korean Lash Lift Technique. My name is Maria Larionova, and I am the founder of Lami Super Booster. I am the lash technician like many of you here, as well as a trainer, product developer, and the international judge for lash and brow competitions. And definitely my passion is knowledge, sharing it with you, studying new techniques and developing better products. And I'm very, very happy to see you all here today. So in today's webinar, we are going to talk about the Korean lash lift technique, which is rapidly gaining popularity around the world. And today we will also watch a video demonstration of the technique where I'll comment on important details step by step. And before we begin with our webinar, I wanted to let you know that at the end of this webinar, one of you will win a prize. And finally, during the webinar, if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to ask them. You can or speak or write them directly in the chat. That way, Kati, my sister and my business partner, who is here with us today, will let me know. Hello. So I can answer your questions as we go. Okay, we have some slides as well. Let me just switch them on. Okay. So let's start by telling you a little bit about who we are. Lami Super Booster is a family business. Everything we do comes from genuine passion and from working together as a family. And one of our biggest beliefs is promoting made in Italy. Italy is truly a leader in cosmetic production. The standards, the safety, the quality, they are some of the highest in the world. And my own journey in this industry began back in 2019. And in 2013, I introduced the concept of the lash bar in Italy, because before that, there were only the beauty centers, but didn't exist any lash bar. So in 2013, I opened the very first Italian lash bar. And together, I launched also the eyelash extension brand Lash Dream. We started studying, developing and producing lash and brow lamination products already in 2016, at a time when the category was still very new. And since then, we've grown not only our own brand, but we have also been chosen by major international brands to create formulas and manufacture their products. And innovation is really at the core what we do. We focus on the health of eyelashes and eyebrows, and we work scientifically, always developing next generation formulas that are safe, advanced, and effective. So in short, we are guided by science, by family principles, and by a deep love for beauty. So the Korean lash lift technique, as the name says, is originated in South Korea between 2016 and 2019. At the time, it wasn't actually very well known here in Europe. It began inside Korean beauty centers, and it was inspired by the whole K-beauty philosophy, which philosophy is focused on preventative care, deep hydration, nourishment, and maintaining long-term lash health. And if somebody didn't know, that Korea has always been incredibly innovative in lash treatments, as they were also pioneers in lash extensions and naturally continued evolving lash lifting as well. And in Europe, the technique started to appear around 2020 but it still remained relatively as a niche technique. Most professionals still worked with the classic method, and the Korean approach was something only a few had heard about. But in the last year, everything has changed. The Korean technique has exploded in popularity, and the demand is growing very quickly. The reason is very simple. Because this technique delivers incredible results and introduces a much more innovative approach, both in how the treatment is performed and in the products that are used. So over time, we've seen a major evolution in the technique, and today it represents the next generation of lash lifting. So what makes the Korean technique so different from the classical lash lift? This method is a modern evolution of lash lifting. It's all about delicacy, precision, and above all, the lash health. The differences are not just in the final look, but also in the materials, the formulas, and overall philosophy behind the treatment. And first of all, the technique uses the self-adhesive silicone shields, because with this technique, we don't use the traditional glue to attach the shield to the eyelid. Usually, these shields stick perfectly on their own, but if for any reason they don't, perhaps the eyelid is a bit greasy or the client is sweating and so on, so the shield doesn't stick so well, you can still use a small amount of the normal lash lift glue to help them adhere, but it's simply not required. And the key point is that the Korean technique is designed to be damage minimized, meaning the entire system is created to reduce the risk of harming the natural eyelashes. And another big difference is the adhesive. In the Korean method, we do not use the classical glue. Instead, we work with glue powder, which gives you complete control and helps you understand the exact moment when to remove step one while keeping the lashes still healthy. So let's move to the formulas. In the classic technique, the active ingredients are usually thioglycolates. And in the Korean technique, we use cysteamine hydrochloride. Of course, this doesn't mean you can't use cysteamine hydrochloride-based products in a classic method, but in the Korean approach, it plays a central role. And also the processing times are typically faster. This happens because we are not creating a barrier with traditional glue, and also because new generation formulas are designed to open the cuticle more efficiently. And now something very important. Even though the Korean technique is gentler, it still requires proper training, because you must understand the classic technique and the correct maneuvers, because without that foundation, damage can still happen even with the gentler method. And another major difference is the application of the product. In the classical lash lift method, step one is applied only halfway up the lash. We don't add the product on the lash tips. And in the Korean technique, step one is applied all the way to the tips. And because of this, it is very important also choosing the right shield size. With the Korean method, you generally need to size up your shield since the entire lash, including the tips, will take the shape of the shield. So this is something very important you have to be aware of. Because if you use the same size you normally use for a classic lift, you may end up with the lashes that curl too tightly toward the eyelid. And finally, even though we can explain the principles here, the Korean technique has many nuances. And to truly master it, I highly recommend taking an in-person course where you can see and practice all the details hands-on. Now let's talk about which new generation products are used in the Korean technique and the chemistry behind them. Just the essentials you really need to know to work safely and effectively. To create a lash lift, we rely on reducing agents. These are the ingredients that break the disulfide bonds, temporarily open the cuticles, and make the lashes and brows moldable before we fix the curl. And there are three main types of reducing agents, and these are ammonium thioglycolate, which is one of the oldest and strongest reducing agents, and it has been used for decades, and it is very reliable, but it is also considered the most aggressive. Then there is ethanolamine thioglycolate. This is also well established and widely used in classic lash lifting. And then there is cysteamine hydrochloride, which is the new generation reducing agent that completely changed the industry and also introduced the Korean technique to the world. And at Lami Super Booster, we began studying cysteamine hydrochloride already back in 2019, long before the Korean technique became popular in Europe. Now, I want to clarify something very important, that none of these ingredients are better or worse. They all work on the same principle, which is that they break the disulfide bonds, open the cuticle, which means they make the lash or brows flexible. So we can reshape it using the correct silicone shield. And perhaps you may have heard in the industry that cysteamine hydrochloride keeps lashes hydrated or prevents dryness. This claim is actually very common, but unfortunately it's not very accurate, and let me explain you why. Cysteamine hydrochloride is still a reducing agent. It opens the cuticle and reshapes the hair just like the thioglycolates do. The hydrating or nourishing effect does not come from cysteamine hydrochloride itself. It actually comes from overall formula, meaning if the product is enriched with oils, peptides, amino acids, and other hydrating components, that is what keeps actually the lashes conditioned. The aggressiveness of a lash lotion doesn't depend only on which active ingredient it contains, but mostly on its concentration, the pH, and the overall formulation. A well-balanced formula can be gentle, regardless of whether it uses thioglycolates or cysteamine hydrochloride. So in summary, both thioglycolate-based products and cysteamine hydrochloride-based products can be actually gentle, safe, and effective, as long as the formulas are well developed and used correctly during the treatment. So when we started developing our new formulas for Korean lash lift, we actually didn't want to focus on a single ingredient. Instead, we looked at the entire formula and asked ourselves a simple but very important question. If the lashes and brows are most vulnerable during step 1, why should we wait until the end of the treatment to take care of them? And our answer actually was that we shouldn't. That the care actually should begin from the very first step. And this is exactly how our innovative system Iconic Duo was born. Where both step 1 and step 2 are enriched with nourishing ingredients like castor oil, peptides, and apple stem cells. Because the care is already built into both phases, actually the step 3 is no longer necessary. There is no need for a separate nourishing mask at the end. This makes our system truly different from what's currently available on the market. Just to give you an idea, normally when you apply the step 3, it takes up to 10 minutes, the time you apply the product and the time it has to stay on. So with only removing this part with Iconic Duo, we save around 12 minutes of treatment time without compromising the lash health or the results. So for us, it was essential that lash and brow care became part of the chemistry itself, not an afterthought. And it took us more than a year to develop, test, and perfect the texture and balance of the formula. But the result is something we are incredibly proud of. So why is Korean lash lift technique becoming so popular so quickly? First of all, it gives us more safety and more control. And that naturally means a lower risk of damaging the lashes. The entire method is designed to work gently and precisely. Another big advantage is that it's compatible with all lash types, even the shortest of most difficult lash reach the shins easily. Actually, it's can you hear me? Okay. Okay. So where was I? So yeah, gives us more safety and more control, and that means a lower risk of damaging the lashes or brows. Another big advantage is that it's, as I said, it's compatible with all lash types, and as I was saying, especially with the difficult lashes, this is like perfect technique. As with the Korean technique, we apply the product all the way to the tips, so the entire lash becomes softer and moldable from root to tip. So that's why even the most difficult, very short eyelashes, which normally we have a difficulty to stick to the shields, with this technique, this becomes possible very easily. And the treatment times are also faster. And this comes from two factors. The formulas act more quickly, and the technique itself is more efficient. And there is even a faster version called the Korean Express Lash Lift. But this is something we'll gonna explore another time, maybe in another webinar. In today's webinar and in the demonstration video, I'll show you the standard Korean lash lamination technique. And just so you know, in my in-person lash lift training courses, I also teach the express technique, which allows you to complete the treatments in around 30 minutes. And this is already included to the course. So to perform the Korean lash lift technique, we use the glue powder. It's not exactly a traditional adhesive. Instead, it's actually a powder that transforms the lotions into a slightly sticky texture, allowing you to position the lashes on the silicone shields without needing the classic glue. And in the video, I'm going to show you the different percentages when we mix them into the lotions, which texture the lotion takes. And because, as I mentioned already before, that for us, the care is part of the chemistry. Our glue powder, what we developed, not only performs well, but it is also enriched with the nourishing ingredients. So our glue powder contains biotin oil tripeptide, panthenol, sweet almond oil, jojoba oil, vitamin E, and glycerin. And just like all our products, it is developed and manufactured in Italy, following high quality cosmetic production standards. So much for listening. I would say that now we're going to move on. The practical part, let's see how to perform the Korean technique.
And perhaps just to remind, if you have any questions during the video, feel free to ask them.
Okay. So while the video plays, I'm gonna pause it time to time to explain some parts. And as a side comment, the person on who I performed the Korean technique had already done previous lash lift. It was 5 weeks, but the lashes were pretty much over processed, and the processing times what I kept with our iconic duo were 4 to 5 minutes, the lotions, because she didn't need it more. And after you can see how the eyelashes came out. And whenever you have any questions, if something is not clear, just let me know. We're going to pause the video. I'm going to answer all the questions. Okay. Okay, so here I covered her lower lashes with our silicone patches. They're reusable. And decided to use the flat classical Korean silicone shield, which is self-sticking, no glue necessary. For step 1. And here now you can see different percentiles of how to mix the glue powder. What is the right amount? It all depends. If you are mixing it into step 1, into step 2. Normally, when the eyelashes are already soft, like for example, if you mix it into step 2, the percentile doesn't need to be so high because it's quite easy to get stuck the lashes on the silicone shields. Perhaps when the eyelashes are a bit harsher, stronger, me personally, I prefer to have a little bit tackier texture of my lotion. And my suggestion is also, I show you here the different percentiles, but it's all up to you, which is most comfortable for you, which helps you the best to work. You can play around also, like if you see that it's too liquid, you want it to be more thick, just add, when you already mixed everything in, you can always add the powder as well. And I normally start from the outer corners, adding a little bit of product to the shield and then to the eyelashes. With the step 1, it's not important that the eyelashes are perfectly on the shields because this is the part where we soften the lashes. We're not shaping them yet. If for example, if you can see here, the inner corner lashes are more difficult to get to the shields, but it's okay. It's important that the product is on the eyelashes and that it softens them. And if they don't stick immediately to the shields, it's absolutely fine. You can always help with the lash lift compensator. With the lash lift compensator, I wanted to give you a little advice. As we add it on the lashes, be aware that it creates some extra heat. What I normally do when I use the compensators, I normally keep them on for the first 2 to 3 minutes and then I remove them. Normally, that way I have more control on the eyelash, because if it creates too much heat, we don't know exactly when it would be the time to remove them, the lotions, because it can over process. So you have to be careful also while using the compensators. Once compensator is removed, I start to check and see if the lashes are becoming softer. My favorite micro lash and brow brushes, I start to brush them to see if it's easy to separate them. And we'll check also the tips of the lashes. They are soft. If the lashes, what weren't sticking to the shields, if they are now sticking better to the shields. And here I start to check if the hair is ready. Normally, if pulling down the eyelash hair and it takes the C shape, normally the hair is not ready yet. But if it starts to take the V shape, this means the lotions need to be removed. I normally check in different parts. Here you should see better in which shape the eyelash takes. So you can see it's in V shape. This means it's time to remove the lotions. I normally use the dry cotton bud. And it's very important that you remove all the product, because otherwise it continues to process. Now I'm going to remove the flat shield because I do not need it anymore. Now we're going to need the normal shield. And also here, if there is any excess of the product or still something, some remainings, make sure you clean all very well. And here I apply now the normal shield with the shape you prefer to use. Here I used our silicone shields Frosty. Make sure that when you apply the silicone shields, you leave a little space between the lashes and the eyelid, like half a centimeter, a couple of millimeters. Also here, I added powder glue to the step 2. And now it is very important. I mean, you can do in different ways. I did by going directly with the glue powder and the lotion on the shield. And here you have to be very fast to get them into the shape because it starts to already neutralize. If you're not so sure that you're fast enough, that's why it's very important that you know the classical lash lifting method as well, because you yourself, you need to be a little bit faster as well. You can always, in that case, or use the lash lift glue, shape them first to the silicone shields, and then add the lotion. Or otherwise, if you're secure enough, you can do in a way like I'm doing in the video. I work in sectors. And with my micro brush, I'm separating them. I do not suggest to use the plastic or the steel tools. And this is because as we treated the eyelashes with the step 1, we basically open the cuticles. This makes the eyelashes very vulnerable. So if we use any harsh tool, we risk to damage the eyelashes. That's why I suggest to use me myself. I absolutely love to use the little micro brushes because they are soft. They separate very quickly the eyelashes and they're comfortable to use. Making sure they're all separated, all on the shield. And also here with the step 2, I'm applying our compensator to the eyelashes. That way it keeps in place also the smallest eyelashes. And now we move to the tinting the eyelashes. I normally like to tint also the lower lashes. And here I prefer to use the black silicone patch because the silicone patches, they are reusable, but the tint still stain the patches. So with the black ones, it's easier. You don't see so much the stains. And in some cases, for example, if you do the eyelash extensions and you work with a very light eyelashes, it's actually very comfortable to use the black silicone patch. The curing time is over. We remove the excess. We clean everything. You can clean or with the oil-free makeup remover, with the water. With our lotions, it is not necessary to wait 24 hours before you can make the eyelashes wet. You can actually do it right away. And here you see that I'm using also a cotton bud. It's very important that you remove all the residues, that the lashes are completely clean. This is the end result. I'm going to show you also how they were before and after. This is how her lashes were before. And this is what we managed to get out. Okay, does anybody have any questions? Was the video clear? Was all the explanations clear? Or you would like to ask something more?
Feel free to turn your microphone on and ask if you don't want to write it as a comment.
I think someone wrote something, but I can't understand. Okay. The difference actually is only the color. It's all depends of what's your preference. What they do is exactly the same. Perhaps the pink one is if you want to produce the Instagram contents. Can be a bit more fun, but actually the ingredients and everything is the same.
The other comment was just about somebody having their camera on before.
Ah, okay. You're welcome. Perhaps, no, let's wait a little bit.
Has anybody have experience with Korean lash lifting and tried our new products already? Would be interesting to hear your comments and whether this webinar has been helpful. Hi, Brigitta.
Sorry for the background. It's my son's birthday, but yeah, I did try, and I think it's thank you. I think it's been a month. Oh, actually, 2 maybe. I'm working with your product, and it's amazing. I have started selling it as well and making the trainings in Cyprus, and only the best results and only the best feedbacks. So I'm very, very happy and thankful for you, what you created. I just wanted to join here today to see if I'm like, doing everything 100% correct, and just, that the last dot to put. So yeah, I'm happy. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much. That's so nice to hear. We are very happy to hear that.
Thanks. So yeah, I'm gonna go off to my son's birthday.
Happy birthday. Have fun.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
So if nobody else has any questions, I guess we could pick our winner today. And our winner is Valentina Peters. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
So Valentina, we will get in touch with you and you will tell us how we can ship them to you, the prize. All right. Thank you so much, Maria.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. So if also in the future or during the day, during the week, you're going to have any questions, you can always write to us or in our Instagram page. Please follow us also on our Instagram, because soon we start to publish there also some short educational videos, and also our YouTube channel, where we probably gonna upload also this webinar if you want to see some once more. Thank you so much, everybody. I wish you a wonderful day and happy holiday season.
Bye.
Bye.